Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. So let's invoke the blessing of the Lord before reading. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः ईश्वरा परमा कृष्णः सच्चिदानन्दविग्रह अनादिरादिर्गोविन्दः सर्वकारणकारणम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we have been reading from book Trinadapi Sunichena by Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj ki jai. So chapter name Humility is Needed, and we were at page number 60. Pay respect to one and all. Krishna crushes pride and Mahaprabhu teaches. Trinadapi sunichena tarur iva sahishnuna. Amanina manadena kirtaniye sadahari. One should have no pride at all. Be much humbler than a blade of grass. Otherwise, you cannot do Hari Kirtana. Think yourself to be the lowest of the low, more insignificant than a blade of grass in the street. Trinadapi sunichena taror iva sahishnuna. Be as tolerant as tree. Even if you cut the tree to pieces and burn it to ashes, the tree tolerates. The tree does not object. The tree may dry up from the lack of water. Still, the tree never asks, "Oh, please give me water." The tree tolerates the sun's scorching heat, rain, thunderbolts, and hailstones. The tree tolerates everything and gives everything. During the summer season, the tree provides cool shade to anyone who takes shelter underneath it. The tree gives fruits, flowers, leaves, twigs, everything and tolerates. Vaishnavas should be like that. Mahaprabhu's teaching is be as tolerant as a tree. Amanina manadena. Do not demand respect. Rather, pay respect to one and all, because a devotee thinks himself the lowest of the low. See everyone else as superior to you. Krishna Adhishthana Jani. A devotee sees Krishna everywhere. He sees Krishna in the heart of everyone. Krishna Adhisthana. Thus, he pays respect. Respects are paid to Krishna, not to the body. A sadhu always sees Krishna everywhere in everyone. Wherever he looks, such vision he has. Yaha netra pade taha Shri Krishna suparaya. Whatever his eyes fall upon, he sees beautiful Krishna. He never demands respect, but rather he pays respect to one and all. Amanina manadena. Amani manada. This is proper attitude. E matahana yashi Krishna nama laya. Shri Krishna charane tanara prema upajaya. If one chants the holy name of Lord Krishna in this manner, he will certainly awaken his dormant love for Krishna's lotus feet. One who chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. With this attitude, will definitely develop Krishna Prema. He will never commit any offense. Devotees are committing offenses because of this pride, but a real devotee will never commit any offense. This is Mahaprabhu's teaching, Amani Manada. Mukunda Das therefore said, Raghunandan is my father, I am his son. He did not say, Oh, I am father and he is my son. No. Then Mahaprabhu became very pleased because Amani Manada. He did not demand respect. That is our teaching, which is Mahaprabhu's teaching. Matta partram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said, No one is superior to me, O Dhananjaya, O Arjuna. Asamordhva tattva. Asmordhva. No one is equal to him. No one is superior to him. He is Asamordhva tattva. He is Lord Hari, Krishna. Mahaprabhu is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in his dealings, you will see how humble he is. Next, Mayavadis cannot be delivered. Mahaprabhu went to Kashi, the place revered by Mayavadis. Their leader, Prakash Nanda Saraswati, a very proud sannyasi, was thinking, Oh, I am great. I am Narayana. No one knows Vedanta as I know it. Such pride he had. Mahaprabhu said, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadi. Mayavadis are great offenders at the lotus feet of Krishna because they think they are one with the Supreme Lord. They are great offenders and cannot be delivered. When Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai the question, Mumukshuhu Buhu Bukshu Gati, what is the destination of Bubukshu and Mumukshu? Bubukshu means one who has desire for material enjoyment, and Mumukshu means one who has the desire to be one with the Supreme Lord, to merge into Brahman, moksha, liberation. What are their destinations? Ramananda Rai said, Deva Deha Sthavra Deha Dunhara Gati. One who has the desire for material enjoyments performs many pious activities, punya karma, and as a result, he will be elevated to a demigod's planet. He will get the body of a demigod, Deva Deha. That is the destination of Bubukshu. What is the destination of Mumukshu? One who wants to merge into Brahman, one who desires to be one with the Lord. He will fall down and obtain the body of a mountain or tree. Sthavra Deha, Sthavra Yoni. That is covered consciousness, a most degraded consciousness. That is the destination of Mumukshu. Ramananda Rai gave this answer. They are great offenders at the lotus feet of Krishna because they think they are God, Narayana. Unless Mahaprabhu showers his mercy unto them, there is no question of deliverance for the mumukshus. There were thousands of Mayavadis in Kashi, and Mahaprabhu went to Kashi because he was showering his mercy to one and all, even to Mayavadis. Thus, without the mercy of Mahaprabhu, the Mayavadis cannot be delivered. So we'll stop here at page number 63. So there are two learnings from today. The number one is tolerate, give respect to others, don't expect respect. And I was thinking that whenever somebody point our mistake, immediately we become defensive. We say, no, no, Prabhuji, we have done this because of because of X and Y reason. So our excuse is always ready, right? So that reminds me, right, that whenever my wife asks something and I give some explanation, she always tell me, you always have some excuse, right? So jokes apart, but that's true. And sometimes I feel that, a wife is also a type of guru which pinpoint our mistakes, right? Because only a guru can chastise, right? So sometime actually our guru gives the teaching through other person. Your same guru speaks through other person, give you the message. We can't expect our guru to be there 24 by 7 in front of us and give instruction. But by the blessing of guru, other person speaks and gives the teaching. So sometime, some person gives you some lesson. Do not think that, oh, this person is chastising. Rather, think that, oh, your guru is speaking through other person. And you will feel that life, your guru will never leave you. Once guru accepts you, he will never leave you. In some or other form, he keep teaching you throughout life. And that's a great fortune. Second, reading from this Mayavadis whose want to merge with or this thing that they are God. It reminds that somebody asked Prabhupada in the assembly, he stand up and say, I am God. And Prabhupada said, do you have anything else to say? He said, no, I am God. And then Prabhupada immediately told that, no, you are not God, you are dog. And after listening, even that person smiled and went away. So, so we'll stop here. Now, Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj ki. Yeah. Now let's read Srila Prabhupada Leela. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we were in Paris. Hmm. Yeah, so we finished Paris August 9, now August 15th. August 15th, Prabhupada returned to London and the latest mail from India. A legal complication had arisen regarding the deed for ISKCON's land in Hyderabad. Prabhupada wrote his disciple Mahamsa, cautioning him to avoid becoming entangled in another Bombay affair. When Prabhupada also received word that the temple construction was progressing in Vrindavan, he replied, I am pleased to hear how you are completely absorbed in the project of our Vrindavan temple and taxing your brain how it can be carried out. I'm also always praying to Krishna that he may give you intelligence to carry it out rightly. In a letter to a disciple in Hawaii, Prabhupada apologized for not replying to a letter. Quote, I was very busy in Bombay for the Juhu land of Mr. N. Now he's dead and gone, but he had created so many obstacles. Still there is discrepancy, but I hope this will be squared up without delay. Writing to Tamal Krishna Goswami in Bombay, Prabhupada was as attentive as ever to ongoing troubles there. Although the devotees remained in possession of the land and had rebuilt their temporary temple, no purchase settlement was in sight. If Mrs. N is not going to sell us land, then what next step we have to adopt? We fixed a criminal case against her for attempting to dispossess us from the land. And what happened to that case? The idea is that if she's not going to sell the land to us and at the same time does not return our money with the damages and interest and occasionally tries to dispose us from the land, then what steps we have to take? She has given us so much trouble and botheration. And Prabhupada wrote to his disciple in Mayapur, quote, yes, Mayapur construction must be completely finished before I return. Next time come there, must be no more workers or carpenters with their tack tack sound. I would have continued to stay in Mayapur, but the hammering sounds drove me away. When you are completely finished, I will go there, otherwise not. Prabhupada also answered dozens of letters from America, where devotees were becoming more and more keen to distribute his books. Their letters contained very crucial questions that only Prabhupada could solve. How important was book distribution? Could the devotees abandon their robes and wear regular Western clothes to better distribute books in public? Was chanting on the streets more important than book distribution? What about taking buses and vans around the country? Could they travel with the deities in the vans? The devotees generally mentioned their own viewpoint in their letters to Prabhupada, and yet they respectfully awaited his definitive reply. The Krishna conscious movement was now big, with potential for growing much bigger. And within ISKCON, Prabhupada's will was so powerful that a single letter from him would establish a policy for years to come. Prabhupada appeared to be sitting quietly in his room at the manor, following his daily routine of bathing, eating, meeting evening guests, yet at the same time, he was directing thousands of young men and women all over the world and sending them into action in the war against Maya. Quote, there is no objection to going in Western clothes in order to distribute my books. It is not necessary that we always wear the robes, but we should always keep shikha and tilak. However, a wig or hat may be worn as you described. We have to take whatever is favorable position for executing Krishna consciousness. Do not forget our principles. But sometimes we may adopt such means in order to distribute books. Somehow or other, distribute books, and if you can impress people a little to chant, then it does not matter about your dress. The devotees continue to request clarification as to how far the ants justified the means in fulfilling Prabhupada's order to distribute books profusely. Srila Prabhupada, being free of any material motivation, could clearly see the Krishna conscious thing to do. Quote, regarding the question you have raised about traveling Sankirtan parties and selling of the books, yes, we want money. So that is the real preaching, selling books. Who can speak better than the books? At least whoever buys, he will look over. The real preaching is selling books. You should know the tactic how to sell without irritating. What your lecturer will do for 3 minutes, but if he reads one page, his life may be turned. We do not want to irritate anyone. However, if he goes away by your aggressive tactics, then you are nonsense and it is your failure. Neither you could sell a book, neither he would remain. But if he buys a book, that is the real successful preaching. That is the certificate of my Guru Maharaj. If someone brahmachari would sell a one paise magazine, if one of our brahmacharis would go and sell a few copies, he would be very, very glad and say, oh, you are so nice. So, distribution of literature is our real preaching. Now, if you cannot handle the matter nicely, that is your fault. But the success of your preaching will be substantiated by how many books are sold. Anything you want to sell, you have to canvas a little. So he gives some money for the service of Krishna. That is his good luck. And he gets the chance to read some transcendental knowledge. But if you only irritate and he goes away, that is your less intelligence. Prabhupada's instructions were so important to his disciples that a letter from him was as effective as a personal visit. By such letters, he maintained the lives and affairs of his disciples all over the world. Each day in the late morning, he would have his secretary read aloud each incoming letter, and usually he would dictate the answers without delay. He had often said that the Vani or order of the Guru was more important than the Vapu or personal presence. Thus, by his letters, he established and illuminated the path of Krishna consciousness for his sincere followers. In America, now Prabhupada's preaching was primarily through distribution of his books, whereas in India it was through establishing temples. Yet both methods were one and the same to him. And although his vision encompassed the whole world, he felt and described himself as the only humble servant of his spiritual master. Whether sitting peacefully on the lawn of manor or teasing one of the little children or directing one of his lieutenants to drop thousands and millions of books into the laps of the conditioned souls, whether meditating with great energy on the next phrase in his Srimad Bhagavatam purports, or worrying about what Mrs. N was conspiring in Bombay, he always tried to serve his Guru Maharaj. What a great dedication. Srila Prabhupada received an emergency phone call from Bombay. Giriraj wanted him to come and personally settle with Mrs. N the purchase of the Juhu land. Giriraj had consulted a new lawyer, Mr. Bakhil, who felt that Prabhupada must be present for there to be a settlement. Another ISKCON lawyer, Mr. Chandaval, also advised that Srila Prabhupada come immediately to Bombay. Giriraj therefore had telephoned Prabhupada, begging him to please come and settle the matter with Mrs. N once and for all. Prabhupada agreed. He would remain in London one more week until Janmashtami, and then he would return to Bombay. Next, August 21st. M. Rasagotra, the Indian ambassador to England, attended the Janmashtami Day celebration and introduced Srila Prabhupada, expressing his appreciation of Prabhupada's great work. Prabhupada spoke, describing the advent of Krishna as the key to peace for the troubled material world. Especially in India, he said, we have got so much asset for understanding God. Everything is there, ready made, but we won't accept. So, what is the remedy for such disease? We are searching after peace, but we won't accept anything which is actually giving us peace. This is our disease. So, Krishna conscious movement is trying to awaken the dormant Krishna consciousness in everyone's heart. Otherwise, how could these Europeans and Americans and other countrymen who had never heard of Krishna 4 or 5 years ago be taking to Krishna consciousness so seriously? Therefore, Krishna consciousness is there in everyone's heart. Prabhupada recited prayers from Brahma Samhita, describing the sublime eternal existence of Krishna on his eternal planet Krishna Loka. But Krishna is also everywhere. He explained, and if you are a devotee, then you can catch him. If you want to catch him, he comes forward 10 times more than your desire. Therefore, we simply have to receive him. This deity worship in temple means worshipping Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has very kindly accepted to assume a form which you can handle. Therefore, do not think that we have installed a marble statue. The rascals will say they are heathens. No, we are worshipping Krishna personally. Krishna has kindly assumed this form because we cannot see the gigantic Krishna or how Krishna is everywhere. Remain 24 hour a day in Krishna service. This is the purpose of installing the deity. This is amazing to see how Srila Prabhupada, just through letters, right, he was able to give instruction to thousands of his disciples. Next section, Bombay, September 15, 1973. The day after his arrival, Srila Prabhupada met with Mrs. N, solicitors, and heard their offers. The situation had begun to look hopeful, and yet the conclusion eluded them. Mrs. N had become changed by public reaction to her attempt to demolish the temple. If Prabhupada would pay the full balance of 12 lakhs of rupees for the land in one payment, she told her lawyer she would agree. Prabhupada was agreeable but did not want to arrange to collect his money until he was certain that Mrs. N was actually serious. Mr. Asnani, a Bombay lawyer and ISKCON life member, regularly met with Mrs. N, persuading her to cooperate with Prabhupada. Her lawyers concurred. Yet, after Prabhupada had been in Bombay for several weeks, no meeting with Mrs. N had taken place. Once Mr. Asnani went to bring Mrs. N to meet with Prabhupada, but she was not feeling well. Day after day, Mr. Asnani would tell Prabhupada, Mrs. N will come tomorrow. Prabhupada became disappointed at the procrastination, and seeing this, his secretaries told Mr. Asnani that although they knew he meant well, they were inclined to have their other lawyers handle the case. Mr. Asnani asked for another 48 hours to close the deal and execute the conveyance. Mrs. N was at her other home, where she had just recovered from her illness. When Mr. Snani visited, Mataji, he begged, my Guru Maharaj is leaving tomorrow. If you don't come tonight, the problem with the land will go on another year. Mrs. N agreed, and around 9 p.m., she and Mr. Asnani arrived at the home of Mr. Bogilal Patel, where Srila Prabhupada was holding a program of Kirtan and Bhagavata discourses. Prabhupada was on the roof preparing to lecture, but hearing that Mrs. N had arrived, he interrupted the meeting and came down to his room to talk with her. They talked briefly. Prabhupada excused himself and returned to the roof to lecture. Around midnight, he returned to his room again. Mrs. N was still waiting. She burst into tears and bowed at Prabhupada's feet. I am sorry for everything I have done. She sobbed. Please forgive me. She promised to do whatever Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada looked at her compassionately and understood her heart. You are just like my daughter, he said. Don't worry. I will take care of you. I will see to all of your needs for the rest of your life. And Prabhupada said he still accepted the very terms. And Prabhupada said he will still accepted the very terms she had proposed, and that he will pay the remaining balance of 12 lakhs plus 50,000 rupees compensation for the delay. Prabhupada and Mrs. N had set November 1st as the tentative deadline for the final signing of the conveyance. Shortly after their meeting, Prabhupada moved from Bhogilal Patel's to the home of Mr. Sethi, where, working intensely, he tackled the remaining problem, such as getting C company to withdraw their claim. Next, he moved to the home of Mr. C.M. Khatu, just 2 blocks from Hare Krishna land, where he lived in a summer cottage, a simple structure with bamboo frame and chatai walls. Usually, conveyance had to be signed in the presence of the city registrar at his office downtown. But Mr. Asnani had arranged for the registrar to come to Prabhupada's place. At 6:30 in the evening, Srila Prabhupada was seated at his low desk between two windows, his back against the wall. Mrs. N and her lawyers, the registrar, the Mr. Asnani, and Mr. and Mrs. Sethi, and about 8 devotees were present, and the full room grew warm and stuffy. Mrs. N sat at Prabhupada's right as the registrar prepared the papers for signing. Srila Prabhupada sat gravely. The room was silent except for the sound of papers rustling and a pen's scratching. Preparing and signing the conveyance papers took more than 20 minutes. Prabhupada paid Mrs. N, who then signed the conveyance. The land was legally ISKCON's. Giriraj. The room was hushed during the signing, and everyone felt as if a momentous event was taking place, just as if two great world powers were signing a treaty. After Mrs. N signed the document, everyone silently watched the papers being passed. She started to cry. Tamal Krishna Goswami quietly asked her why she was crying, and Mrs. N replied that just that day Mr. Mutter had come and told her he had found a buyer for the land for many more lakhs than we were paying. Actually, we were watching Mrs. N. We were thinking that she must be remembering all the events that had taken place, the wrongs that she had done, and the death of her husband. It was very intense, like combination of months of struggling. So for Prabhupada, the devotees and Prabhupada's well-wishers, their dreams and desires and efforts over the past many years were being fulfilled. Srila Prabhupada asked that the devotees inform the newspaper, and he invited everyone in the hall outside his room for a feast. Mats were rolled out in two lines, and devotees brought leaf plates and placed them in front of everyone. The devotees began serving the various dishes to the two rows of seated guests. Prabhupada was standing. Now let us start, he said as he supervised the serving. The devotees had prepared several courses: rice, dal, many varieties of pakoras, such as potato, cauliflower, and eggplant, potato sabji, wet cauliflower sabji, papads, barfi, laddus, cam, a milk sweet, vermicelli kheer, halwa, and a lime drink. It was a festive and happy occasion. Mrs. Warrior, a tenant on Hare Krishna land, devotees were all saying Jai after the signing, and all of them were very happy. Then Prabhupada gave a lecture about Bombay project. He gave an idea to all the people of how it would be all marble. There would not be a single thing that was not built from marble. Some were asking how it would be possible for everything to be marble, and Prabhupada explained that it was possible and could be done. He was visualizing the project, and everyone was thrilled to hear the way he was describing it. It would be like one of the seven wonders of the world. People would be attracted from all over to come and see it. It would be the landmark in Bombay. Prabhupada explained the whole project as if he saw it in his mind's eye. And he said that after it was constructed, it will be more than what we could visualize. It would be fantastic. After the late feast, when everyone had departed, Prabhupada returned to his room. Leaning back at his desk, he exclaimed, "It was a good fight." Later, Prabhupada cite the story of the fight for the Bombay land as evidence that a person in Krishna consciousness has no problems. Now we have spent in Bombay 18 to 20 lakhs of rupees, he said months later while on tour in Europe. The property is actually worth 50 lakhs. People are surprised and some of them were envious. But if you come, you will find that it is very fine place. It is just like a paradise garden. 20,000 square yard. We have got six buildings. So actually when we come to Krishna consciousness, there are no problems. Surely the land was full of potential, but how could he say there had been no problems? No problems meant that Srila Prabhupada saw how Krishna personally arranged things for his devotees. When he had needed money, it had come in an amount that ordinary would have not been possible to collect. And the formidable opposition Krishna had removed. Prabhupada had no organized means of income and a little political influence to fight persons like Mr. and Mrs. N. But because he was surrendered to Krishna, there was no problem. And all the problems of the world were created by the non-devotees who defied the injunctions of Supreme. Anyone who is in Bhakti Yoga, Prabhupada said, he can understand that all problems are solved. We can practically see. And yet we can practically see. So in the interest of time, we'll stop here. We will start from page number 212. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, all the devotees. Anybody has any question or correction, explanation, or realization or chastisement? We'll give 30 seconds and then we'll close and continue our chanting. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Anant Koti Vaishnavin ki jai. So thank you, dear devotees, for listening to me, and please forgive me if I made any mistake. Hare Krishna. Now we'll continue our chanting.